I hope you rest assured that just as quickly as organized criminal syndicates can move to try to implement schemes to defraud that are also aimed at laundering money and assets connected to their illegal activities, that other moves can be made that are corollary. The calibration concerning the emergency broadcast system and the emergency radio communications in Dallas is obviously misprioritized. And if that's because it has been allowed to be infiltrated and commanded, shall we say, by elements of the organized crime syndicate, then rest assured that they are about to see their way out. The major consideration here is not compensation per se, because thus far the appropriate means have not been engaged to assure that whatever compensation was already at work was done in a legal manner and a safe manner. And rather, what happened was a normalization to finding ways to obscure or obstruct revelations of criminal activity by members of law enforcement so as to allow leverageability for people that were using local pension schemes, primarily, I believe, through the police department. Why? Because of the role that the police department and assets connected to the police department have when it comes to facilities connected to public education. And this is, I understand and believe and contend, something that has a very high burden of proof associated with members of law enforcement, specifically and especially leadership of law enforcement, and any non active duty law enforcement individuals that are engaged in any sort of administrative functions, including with the pension board, whether you were elected, appointed, or ended up getting a special select appointment by the mayor. Now, different municipalities have different sort of matrices, and I understand that. But what I also understand is it's completely unacceptable that somebody is simulating black ops involving an IED in the parking lot, the building I live in. Especially after what happened with somebody being able to get inside, slice the bike cable in a very, very clean. We're not talking about somebody using a hacksaw. You had to have a very special item in order to be able to make a cut that clean. And stealing my bike as part of some simulation. Did you want your 88 back and I just wasn't going to give it to you, so you were going to break in and you were going to steal it? Because that's exactly what you told me. And that's unacceptable. We're not just talking about organized crime, we're talking about another level. And what you've drawn down already is not acceptable. There is a red pickup truck in the parking space that has the inverse of the area code for Austin, right outside, that has the front cabin burned out. The metal at the top of the overhang in the garage is bent as if it has been exposed to heat that ended up impacting the actual aluminum. Why? When did this happen? It's happened recently. Why is that vehicle still in the parking lot, completely burned out, with the debris strewn around it? It's there right now. And the thing is, it's a red pickup truck, and I absolutely know what you're simulating. You're simulating the pickup truck that had the Marine Corps motto on it that was in the parking lot of the Houston police officers' pension system located right across the street from the credit union, which itself was right across the highway from the Boys and Girls Club. I know exactly what you're doing. The question is, this is a very, very, very high level inter intrastate, multi-city, psychological operation coordination. And it's completely unacceptable. Especially because I just busted your deals in Iraq this morning, and there's no way that's happened since this morning, which means you intentionally set this place up to be operationalized as part of your plans for laundering money in connection with the local police pension systems in efforts to engage in what? What are you expecting to get away with in Iraq? What are you expecting to get away with in Kirkuk? I know, right? Did you decide you were going to make it a proxy theater for Eastern Ukraine? Yeah, right? Yeah, that's not acceptable. Every single one of you needs to turn your badges in today. If you don't turn your badges in today, and you don't immediately get assistance with either your union and or your attorney by Monday, then I'm going to understand you are openly engaged in acts of terrorism in Dallas and abusing your officer privileges. And here's the problem, too. Every member of the city council in Dallas that's been spying on this, every single one of you is implicated. The mayor is implicated. You've already twice in the last 6 months alleged to be involved in some sort of domestic or local crackdown that needed to call in federal law enforcement. And both times it was a complete farce. It was a complete farce aimed at creating completely horrendous acts of money laundering. Why? Are you intending to do another chemical weapons dump in Iraq? Because that's what this sounds like. You're intending to smuggle chemical weapons to Iraq. Who do you expect to get a hold of them? Yeah, this is terrorism. You need to shut it down.